In today's video, I am going to be showing you how you can score, or at least a few different options on how you can score against a 1-3-1 zone defense. In my opinion, this is one of the easier zones to score against, but a lot of coaches do have some issues with it. So let's get down and let's check this out. Really quickly, if you want my complete guide to the 5-out basketball offense, make sure to go check out the link down in the description below. I personally love to run a 5-out offense right now. This seems to be the easiest offense to run. And what we're going to start with, if we see that we're going up against a 1-3-1, because in a lot of zones you want to attack that high post, but in a 1-3-1, there's that player 5 there, and that's going to be disrupting a lot of passes to get that ball to the high post. So what we're going to start with is player 1 is going to call for a screen. Player 4 is going to set that screen on player 1, and player 1 is going to be using that screen and attacking this player. We want this player to commit to player 1. Player 1 is going to make him commit, and he's going to kick that ball out to player 3. At this time, player 3 could take a shot. That would be very easy. However, player 3 could also be cutting baseline, and that could be a pass to player 3. At the same time, player 2 could be cutting baseline as well, which would then be sinking this defense down. But if player 3 could either set up a floater or a quick pass to player 2, that could be a layup from the weak side. If this collapses that defense to a point where now player 5 could be finding himself open somewhere along the wing or the corner, this could be again a kick out pass for a 3-point shot as well. Really quickly, if you want my complete guide to the 5-out basketball offense, make sure to go check out the link down in the description below. Now, I also really like to run a horns offense as well. So when I have a 5-out, I like to have, if we run a horns offense out of a 5-out, I like to have player 2 and 3 go to the high post. This is actually going to be sinking down players 2 and 3 red, the defenders, and that's going to move player 5 and 4 out to the corners with the horns. Now we are in horns. At this time, because we have that movement to the high post, that's going to be collapsing that defense into that high post, and you can have some skip passes out to either player 5 or to player 4, and if that's to happen, we can then have player 4 take that 3. We could have player 3 cut towards the rim for a nice quick pass to player 3 for a potential layup, or maybe a kick out to the weak side, or player 5 could be cutting in for, again, that pass as well, depending on what this defender does. It's all about reading defense, but if that was to happen, again, we could easily just kick it back out for a 3. There are so many options with this, and there's no screens that need to be set in this strategy. Now, if you were to get that ball into the high post, that's going to be collapsing player 5 over, or moving player 5 over to player 3. That's going to be also most likely moving player 3 red in as well, but that may or may not happen. This could move player 2 over and player 2, or player 4 over, player 2 in. There's so many different variables as to how the defense is going to be getting played. Every coach tends to run a 1-3-1 a bit differently, and the whole main concept is to not get that ball into the high post. That is how most coaches will run a 1-3-1. And if you get that ball into that high post, if you're lucky enough to do so, then I like to cut player 2 across. Again, if it's open, he could get that pass, but what we're looking for is corner 3s, because now the one massive weakness that you will see is if you can pass the ball fast enough is to get the 3-point shot from the corner. Also, by moving player 2 in, you may also have the opportunity to pass to player 5 who's cutting back door for the layup as well. So there's a few different options here too. You can also, in a 5-out, run a skip pass over to player 5. That's going to shift the defense over, most likely kind of like this. Some coaches will run a trap on that corner, move player 3 down, player 1 moves down. But if that's the case, after you make that skip pass, you can then have player 1 cut towards the basket, because usually this side of the key will be open. Most likely teams will not be shifting as fast as you may think, or at least how some coaches will put it on paper. And if that's the case, we now have an opportunity for a kick out, for a swing. You may have an opportunity for a layup. You could have an opportunity for player 4 to cut back door. Player 3 can then shift down. If that's the case, That could be a layup if it's covered. It could be kick out for a 3. There's so many different options, but the main aspect in beating any zone, including a 1-3-1, is fast passes. The biggest mistake that every single young basketball player makes against a zone is by holding that ball and not passing fast enough. If you're going against a zone, you have to pass fast. If you're not, the defense is going to be allowed to set back up, and you're going to be screwed once again. What you need to do against a zone is either drive and kick, or just pass quickly, or cut back door, quick passes, whatever it may be. Just pass fast. My rule with my older teams, and it's going to be the same rule with my younger teams, is if we're playing against a zone, you're only allowed to make 2 dribbles, and you need to get rid of that ball. If you're taking more than 2 dribbles, you're not attacking the rim. And if you take more than 2 dribbles against the zone when you're attacking the rim, you're going to be gaining 2, maybe even 3 defenders. So if you're if you're dribbling 2 dribbles max, and if you are getting that ball, you have 1 second or 2 seconds to make a decision, and that is to drive or to pass. You can't think of anything else. Drive or pass. Drive or pass. Drive or pass. Or you can take a shot. If you're wide open, I will let anybody, even my U11s, to shoot the ball from 3, because you need to keep the defense honest. And most of my U11 players can actually shoot 3s, which is surprising to me. Anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.